Um, yeah, so it's a not well. It's hard to call a horror.
No, I'd call it thriller, more of a...
um, the main thing that I've noticed though for this film, I'm getting straight out of the general into my specifics, is my question to you then is who was the bad guy?
Well, yes, that's the good thing. It's like there, straight away. He's obviously, we take from the trailer, we're thinking, okay, Jason Bateman, he's being stalked. But as the film kind of unravels, we find out, what Jason Bateman did to the other guy. Does it warrant this level of kind of stalkerness as well? So yeah, it's out. They're kind of both to blame, but it's the way in which you handle a situation. That's what it comes down to. And getting your revenge on someone, if that's what your thing is.
Yeah, maybe he's gone a bit to extremes, but
yes,
really, at the end of the day, he's sort of socially awkward. Obviously, the victim's wife is sympathetic to him, which is nice.
Yeah. Yes, she does.
She's sympathetic. I personally got the feeling straight away that that she knew that her husband wasn't necessarily the best guy, and that maybe she knew that she'd been pushed around a bit as well.
Yeah.
And actually, I straight away, all I could think really was this guy, this husband that's sort of supposed to be a victim, which I'm sure a lot of people that saw it did see him as the victim all the way to the end. But for me, straight away, he was actually the horror for me, and the way it sort of unravels is the horror that you get to see that it's actually true. He's done some nasty things, and he sort of, you've got this wife who's sort of stuck in this marriage. She's stuck in a situation where she's married to a guy. She loves him, but he's a bully, and
yeah.
Is that going to, is she going to escape from that? Is she going to end up trapped in a horrible marriage? So that's the sort of things that really make it a horror and quite worrying for me, anyway.
It's good because it's not like your average kind of thriller. It was actually kind of, it had a little bit more to it. When you actually try and sit down and you try and watch it from the adverts, you paint one picture and you think, oh, this family's been stalked. But actually, when you come down to it, it's not so much black and white. And that's what I enjoyed about the film as well. I mean, going back out, going into the film initially, I'm under the impression that they're the innocents. Jason Bateman's, because I love him in all of his comedy stuff. I thought he was the good guy. Arrested Development. That's what I think when I see him. So to see him being stalked, I felt sorry for him straight away.
Yeah.
And then
that should be good for his career.
Yeah.
Do something different.
As time goes on, you think, but there's ways you can handle these kind of things, and I think that's what the film's kind of showing, and that's why I enjoyed the film. I did. I think I went in thinking of one thing and actually came out thinking of another thing. So that's what I liked about it.
Something that worried me about it is actually, excuse me, the thing that worried me was actually the audience's reaction to the film, because I'm not sure that everyone sort of got that sort of he's the good guy is actually the bad guy thing. You know what I mean? So there's for instance, there's a bit where he's talking with his wife. They're in this guy's house, just supposedly been left in his house, they think, to amuse themselves, and he's basically putting him down really horribly. He's putting his old friend down really horribly, bullying, just ridiculing him. And the audience, they're laughing along with him.
Yeah.
And that's just crazy to me, because I could clearly, I'm sure a lot of people on the other side, maybe half the audience, could see that he's the bad guy, and you shouldn't be bullying people like that. So that was quite a worrying thing to me.
Yeah, so overall, what did you think of the film? What's your, did you enjoy it? Was it what you thought it was? because I quite liked it. It was a different take on that kind of genre. So yeah, it was good. I'd give it about 7.5. 7.
Yeah.
No, I'll go 7 because it is a thriller.
I'd give it.
They can only be as good. So good.
I would give it probably an 8 or 9. It was definitely different. I was expecting more of a horror thing. I was looking forward to a horror, but I was also pleased that it was something different. So yeah, it would be good if it made people think differently.
Yeah, I went in thinking it's a bit like The Box, but it wasn't quite like The Box. But it was still one of those kind of things that make you think, and you come out of it thinking about it in a different way, which was good. So the next on our list is the Gallows. So this is now a found footage film again. So we've had so many, but I quite like this one because this, they're in the theatre. They're actually being stalked. Things are happening as with all kind of found footage films, but it wasn't the worst. I thought I quite enjoyed it.
Yeah, me too. I enjoyed it. Yeah. It was a genuinely sort of scary horror movie. It's the self-recording, the sort of video camera theme. I think we may have seen a lot of them, but I think we're just getting used to the idea. With this one, by the time this one's come along, it's just a way of showing us what's happening. You don't have to take it too seriously that it's on camera, although they do a good job of trying to sort of link things together to make it realistic.
And that's the thing. It's like how do you keep churning out found footage films and keeping them original? And I think this one was on the premise. It looks pretty much the same as any other found footage film. This is what's going to happen, and then but it was more because it was a little bit scary. It was actually, you had people jumping in the cinema. That's what I enjoyed about it. We had people who were genuinely hiding behind T-shirts and kind of popcorn bins, which you don't normally get because people just kind of like, it's another one of these kind of like film that we know what's going to happen. There'll be a jump here and there, but it was good. Not great, but good.
Yeah. Okay.
I'd ballpark it at it's another solid horror film. 7 is what I'd give it. It's not the worst found footage film I've seen. I've seen some terrible ones, and this isn't the best either, but it's up there. It's definitely up there as one of the better ones.
7. I would give this a 9. I think I did a really good job with this one. It's all generally done really well. I like the whole secret corridor bit of it. It gave me a very Silent Hill feel. Good film.
So
definitely worthwhile going to see.
Yeah, definitely. Watch it in the cinema because that's the best way to watch these kind of films. Or Halloween time, turn off the lights and watch it. It's one of those kind of films.
I mean, if you've got other films, you might want to choose others over this one. But
if you're interested in horror, then this is the one.
Definitely see it on DVD on a nice big screen. Or make the commitment, go and see it in the cinema.
Yeah, definitely. The next horror film that we've kind of got is Insidious 3. So this time we've got a new direction. We've gone in a different way. James Wan obviously went off and made Fast and Furious. Shouldn't have done that, but he gave us the first 2 Insidious films, and now we've got the third one. And it kind of plays as a prequel because we see the old lady again. We're going to go with her character. Obviously, anyone who's seen the last one, spoiler alert, she dies. So we're kind of now looking at a different, seeing the kind of how she gets her powers and stuff. It's as good as it can be, really, as any other Insidious film. I wasn't expecting too much from them. They're good up until the end 15 minutes, where they kind of like always deteriorate, in my opinion, when they go into the nether realm. Up until then, they're not bad. They have good jumps and stuff, but that's kind of where it is, and that's kind of where it ends for me.
Yeah, for me, I like the way they've developed they've sort of developed a series for these films. So that I like how they bring the comedy sort of ghost hunter people back.
The comic relief,
they're really good. They're brilliant characters, and normally in films that are done badly, you get comic relief throughout the film, even when in tense parts, and it just ruins it. But for Insidious, they have it all tense. They have everything that's going on, and then they just have suddenly, almost out of the blue, they have these comedy people coming in, these comedy guys, and they're just brilliantly funny. But only for that appropriate time, and then they really bring it back into sort of the tense and horror stuff. I mean,
it is another Insidious film. You kind of expect certain things about it. You see these little crazy demons. You see a lot, and then kind of like when they're getting to the point where they're going to banish it and stuff. That's kind of where I think their films always unravel and aren't as good. But up until then, they're good fun. They are genuinely a lot of jumps, a lot of scares.
I suppose they release the tension at that point. They say, well, everything's happening, so it's just happening. And so, if you're really into the tension stuff, you're going to get maybe bored once it all gets revealed.
So to me, it's another chapter in the film. I'd give it 6. It's better than the second one, but not as well. Yeah, it's as good as the first one, I'd say, but not much better than the second, definitely.
Okay. Well, I do think it's probably a better horror than the second, but the second movie actually was more interesting in that it was more attached to the first one. It sort of explained everything.
Yes, they interlinked really well, really, really well.
Yeah, so as part of the series, I think the second one was probably better than the third one. But I'm going to give the Insidious 3 a 7 out of 10.
Brilliant. So quickly, one last film that we want to talk about in the kind of horror thing is Unfriend, the Facebook film. Anyone who's seen like this viral video that went around, this was quite well done. The trailer kind of enticed people to watch this film based on just watching someone's laptop screen, basically, and you just kind of watch the whole film unravel from just watching it from someone's laptop on Facebook. They become friends, and then
on screen.
And then you have all the Skypes happening and stuff, and it actually, for some weird, bizarre reason, it kind of like kept me going. I was quite interested in this. I can't say I was bored through it. I was actually watching it, and I was like, wow, this is quite good. And I was just literally watching someone else on Facebook, but it was actually quite fun.
Surprised. So it surprised you then that it kept you interested?
Yes, definitely, because you would never think looking over someone's shoulder and watching them on Facebook would actually be fun or interesting.
Definitely. It's a good movie. Excuse me a second. Unfriended. Definitely, it's a challenge to get everything onto the screen, but definitely they achieved it. The whole movie seen through one person's screen, but obviously you get to see a lot from that. You get to see people's faces quite through most of it, and that means a lot of acting and a lot of people can scream, people can be happy, people can be worried.
So for what it is, and for such a small film, I was actually into it quite a lot, and I was surprised I'd be quite interested in watching it unravel the way it did. So for me, it was a very original idea. So I'd give it about 7.5. Thoroughly recommend it for anyone who wants to watch kind of like a different kind of film, but don't go in thinking it's going to be a big budget action film or horror film that we're used to. It's something. It is small. You're watching a screen, and you have to you got to be into it, really.
Yeah, I think I'd give it a 9. A 9 for the sort of tension. If you really like tense, films, just go and see this one, definitely. And it's a 9 on that count. 9 out of 10.